Hello everybody. Well, I've made a couple of videos lately about religion, and it kind of makes sense then that someone asked me a follow-up question about my feelings on spirituality. It was actually a comment in a video. And I'll go ahead and address this to Emily. Um, People are looking for answers. Not everybody. Your mother really isn't looking for answers. But a lot of people are. Yumiko seems to be content with the world the way she encounters it, and doesn't seem to be the delving sort. But there are people who are the delving sort. Delving being, of course, Emily, the want to explore and to investigate and to understand. Sometimes, though, we want to have the answers. We want to feel comfortable with something that seems that we may not be able to find an answer to easily. And it's sometimes the big uncertainties don't rest well on our shoulders, and we want to find something that will fit. And there seem to be two camps, so to speak, of people that are looking for that. One is represented by this structure back here. This is a Buddhist temple, and this represents a religion. Religion is essentially the organized collection of people organized together with a belief system that they can ascribe to, talk about with one another, and follow, that gives them the answers that they're looking for. And here we go, with the various icons of religious systems. Let's go ahead and walk through this little temple. So religion is one form, and the other form is spirituality. Spirituality is a lot like religion, although it tends to lack the organization. You don't tend to get groups of spiritual people coming together to build a building like this and have their meetings and discussions. Spirituality seems to be for more for those who don't find their place in religious or organization, and instead, but yet feel the need to find an understanding with the big uncertain questions out there. So religion and spirituality. So someone's asked me about my feelings about spirituality, and for Daddy, spirituality is akin to religion in that it's a quest that embraces the possibility of something outside the bounds of physical laws. I hope I'm trying to encapsulate that the way I can. There seem to be governing principles that run the way the universe works, and they're described as physical laws. You remember everybody, I'm talking to Emily here, so a kid. And so these physical laws basically describe how everything operates. And sometimes it's tempting to say that the answer, the reason something happens, it's a convenient thing to say that it may be happening something that's outside of those physical laws, something that's greater and perhaps more powerful and perhaps controlling the universe from outside, or not from outside, but from outside the influence and the restrictions of the physical laws. And for me, religion and spirituality are both conduits to find, and dare I say the word, easy answers. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Spirituality as well. The way I see things is that life is like a great forest, and there is a wonderful large orchestra placed here and there throughout the forest. It's not just a forest of thin trees. It's brushy and green and dense within, and hiding little patches and little hills and hummocks and little swampy areas and the like. And all throughout this big forest, there's a great orchestra playing of various instruments and music and various performers. And when we arrive into the forest, and by being born into the universe, we are at once astonished by the wonderful harmonious noises, sounds that come in from all about. And the harmony comes from the physical laws that basically govern how things operate. That's why there seems to be a lot of order in the universe. So this orchestra playing has a background sense of order and harmony to it. Periodically, and then as we live our lives, we get familiar with various certain players in our vicinity, the ones that we can see. Maybe there's a trombone player over here, to use, it's a convention of some instrument, and a drummer over here, and a saxophone player behind us, and we get used to those, and we're familiar with those. If we begin to venture a little bit into the forest, moving away from the place where we were born through mental inquiry and through physical activity. We begin to hear sounds that were maybe we could hear before, but maybe were a bit muted from distance or from the sounds of the players around us. We may apprehend some sound coming from around the corner over there, and we may not know what it is. And at that point, when we gain an appreciation that there's something more going on, some mystery happening, some curious thing, we can be tempted to say that it's basically a deity or our supernatural force in action going on over there behind that little hill. When in fact it may be just another element of the universe in action, another player, a musician doing their little bit. And I believe that I would prefer, let me rephrase that, jumping to the conclusion, the reason I'm not spiritual is that I resist and I object, that's the word, that's the true word, I object in my own mind to jumping to conclusions about what may be there, in terms of saying it's an easy thing to say. Oh, I hear something strange around the corner. It must be supernatural. I would prefer to say there's something around the corner over there making some strange noise. Let me get the gear, the equipment, and the education to push through the bushes and wrestle through the swamp and peer around the corner and see just what that is. That type of an attitude is best engendered in a skeptic, in the skeptic mind. If we say jump to a conclusion that it's either God or some supernatural force, then we may be less inclined to investigate that. No, of course there are supernatural investigators doing their thing, but it's a frame of mind that is more likely to just be comfortable with the contrived ideas of our mind about what it may be than actually going out and discovering what it is. So I remain a skeptic and an atheist, in part because I'm comfortable with not knowing. In fact, I prefer the challenge of not knowing versus the uncertain peace of mind that comes with settling on a conclusion that may or may not be true, like the mystics of the past, as describing that, deciding that the sound of thunder was the voice of a deity, when in fact, and letting it set at that, and for centuries passing without knowing otherwise. Whereas I would prefer to keep scratching my head. What the heck is that? What's that sound up there? Let me get together some crude scientific apparatus and see if I can figure this out. Not that I'm capable of doing that, but it's a frame of mind that allows that to happen. So Daddy remains an atheist and a non-spiritual person. When I'm up there, when I'm up there wandering in the woods, and I feel that apprehension, that beautiful, wonderful apprehension that something grand is occurring, that I sense something curious and strange in the world, in the woods up there, I don't necessarily feel that it's something supernatural or divine. Instead I imagine that I'm simply getting close to another one of those mysterious musicians in the night there, in the woods, in the place, and wherever the heck it may be. That's all it is. So there I have it. I remain a skeptic and a non-spiritual atheist. Well, folks, and my little girl, it's time for me to venture off to work where there is no skepticism. I have a job to do. Everybody has a great day. Take care.